My name is Ryan Burke, and I just love guitars. That's why I'm traveling the whole world to try as many as I can.
You're watching 60 Cycle Hum Road Case. This episode is brought to you by Tour Gear Designs and their amazingly small and flat patch cables. Big Ear Pedals, harnessing the cosmic power of cats to transport you into a new sonic dimension. Gun Street Wiring Shop, unlock your guitar's hidden tones with an expertly crafted custom wiring harness. And Harmony Guitars, USA-made guitars with nitro finishes, high personality pickups, cool retro looks, and included mono gig bags and playability that punches way above their price point. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. You're watching 60 Cycle Hum Road Case, and you might have noticed I'm not in a normal location for a road case video. I'm at home right now. I'm in my garage, but don't worry, don't go anywhere. The rest of the video, I'm going to be on location in Nashville at Grant Wilson's house. That's right, Big Ear Pedals headquarters, where Grant is going to show me how to build a pedal. I'm going to build a pedal myself. My own hands are going to build a pedal, and Grant is going to tell me how to do it the whole way through. It took about 3 hours to film, and I cut it down to be much, much less. It's like 40 minutes or something like that. But anyways, what pedal am I talking about? I'm talking about the Big Ear Pedals Stevis and Burkhead. Look at this thing. It's got art on there from Karen of Big Ear Pedals. It's in the style of Beavis and Butthead, but it's a picture of Steve and I podcasting. I think it's a ton of fun. By the way, there's only 14 of these in existence. I have one, Grant has one, obviously, and Steve has one. And the other 11 you could buy with a link down below. So that's why I'm making this little intro, so you can hear a sound sample to know exactly what you're buying. The circuit is the Big Ear Pedals Luck Drive, which Grant put together as kind of a limited run for a Willie Nelson concert that was going on. I don't know all the details. But anyways, it's kind of like a modified Tube Screamer sort of thing. It's not that really fizzy mixed with a clean blended low frequency thing that I don't like about most Tube Screamers. It's more of like this raw edge of distortion style overdrive, which is what I do like in various Tube Screamer variations. And it still has that really nice creamy sort of mid hump to it. But anyways, not only are we selling 11 of these things, all the profits are going to go to a charity. We're going to give that money to Sweet Relief, which is a musician's fund that has helped people that I personally know. It's a fund for professional musicians that have fallen on hard times, whether it be, medical issues and things like that. It's a really great charity. Like I said, it's helped people that I know. We've supported it in the past. So just so you know, if you buy one of these, the money's going that way. Also, very embarrassingly, I've had a kit around for this for probably like 2 years now. It's embarrassing. It's been here a long time. I've been too nervous and too scared to try to tackle it. I've never built a pedal before. So I just was putting it off forever. That's why Grant had me come over to show me how to do it. I'm going to auction off the kit. You can buy the kit and put it together yourself. I'm going to put it on eBay, and all the money from this is going to go to that charity. So there's 11 of these pedals that you can buy. One is a kit. And I'm pretty excited about this. But anyways, enough yapping. Here is my clean tone from my very mangled and modified Mexican Stratocaster here. That's on the number 2 position, by the way. And here is the Stevis and Burkhead. Quickly check out the range of the gain control. Here it is all the way up. On the number 2 position. Take it down to about noon. Number 4 position. Let's go to the neck pickup. like turn that gain down all the way there. Let's leave it at noon and we'll check out the range of the tone control. And then that'll be about it. I think that'll give you a good flavor of what's going on here. Ooh, it gets bright. That tends to be right about where I leave it. Just dump it all the way dark. There you go, the Stevis and Burkhead. Enjoy the rest of the video, and there's going to be a little jam at the end too that I just recorded before this. It's fun. It's a fun jam. All right, have fun, guys.
I have a PCB right here.
This doesn't seem so intimidating. It's a little guy. Watch, you're gonna get me started. I'm gonna be a pedal builder next year. I'm gonna have a booth at NAMM. And you're gonna ruin my life.
I was gonna say, yeah, then your life will be miserable. So,
hey everyone, I'm Ryan. That's Grant from Big Ear. Grant's gonna show me how to build a pedal. He sent me the kit for this, the Stevis and Burkhead. He sent one to Steve too, like a year ago.
I think so.
And I had no idea how to actually build it. So now he's gonna teach me. I'm here in Nashville with him, obviously. So this is going to be an adventure. The only stuff I've ever soldered is like installing pickups, and I usually screw that up.
And I'm no teacher.
So this is going to be an adventure with lots of like time lapses and stuff, and you're not actually going to learn from either of us how to do this because it's not for that. You're just watching me learn how to do this, and maybe once I learn it, then I'll be able to do the kit at home and maybe teach you. Maybe. No promises. And I know that there's like a color stripe code on these. So if you ever accidentally,
If I would spill them all, I would throw them all in the garbage because they cost like a penny a piece, and it's not worth my time to sort.
Gotcha.
I would be bummed out that would happen. I don't like wasting things, but I'm not going to spend 7 hours to sort $40 worth of stuff.
So to you, you don't look at those two and immediately know exactly what they are?
No.
Okay. I feel better now. Because I tried to like figure it out one time, and I was like reading all the color codes online somewhere. I was like, how does anyone process this information? Like, it's like an alien language. Like, oh, if orange is like the 3rd stripe and black is the 5th and this, and like, what the hell is going on here?
I honestly still... I realized during your intro how wet I looked still from my shower, and then I realized it's going to be funny because as it goes on,
You're gonna dry.
I'm going to dry and they get fluffier and fluffier and fluffier as I get.
Well, usually in my videos I start out dry and,
And
I
then
get
get wet,
sweatier
yeah.
and sweatier and sweatier. So you said R3, R5, and R7.
This one has already been bent, but this was bent by a machine.
Great.
This was bent by a machine, so it's not perfect because the machine can only get so tight.
So you're telling me that this pedal won't be 100% handmade?
Well, one machine bent one resistor, so That's true. But here, so when you put it in, you kind of have to squeeze it a little bit. Because
Now, it's called an LEDR. What is... Oh, that's just the position on here.
Yeah, that's just... it says right there, LEDR, instead of a number. It's just...
So this is the resistor for the LED?
Yes.
Okay, now I understand. You pulled out this thing, I'm like, that's not an LED.
And it's still going to be super bright. They're all floating, floating resistor, man.
Is that what they call them, floating resistors?
Yep.
I figured it out. I'm a pedal builder now. I know how to make fun of other pedal builders now. Now I'm official.
You're a smart guy.
I figured out the insults before actually figuring out how to do it.
If you're really smart, you wouldn't start a pedal company.
Well, I already started a podcast and a YouTube channel, so how smart can I be? Now I'm all concerned about
R4, R9, and R10.
getting them flush.
This is a super simple circuit, so it's
Sure.
not a lot of tremendous amount of parts to solder, and nothing crazy.
R4, R9, and R10?
It does have 4 diodes, and so those can sometimes, I mean, if you overheat them, they can crack and break. But, well, you know, I'll show you, the way I always do it is just do one side of each, you know, and then that takes time in between, and then you can go and do the other side.
I'm good at bending.
Yeah.
People have told me that my whole life. Ryan, you're really good at bending. I was
kind of a guitar joke.
born with it, I guess.
Born to bend, baby.
Born to bend. those bends are no picnic. I don't know what that is.
So this is for bending various parts to various spaces.
All these little tools.
Resistors or diodes or whatever. The diodes are 1 and...
Probably close that door real quick.
Yeah. Sorry.
We can open it once they leave if you need.
Well, they're leaving right now. And I was worried because if we close the door, it'll change how everything sounds in the room. I don't know if that's a problem.
You're being too picky for this video.
I'm a person that has a background recording audio more than video. I don't do YouTube, but I...
This is a very forgiving audio format, Grant. We don't need to worry about the change in the room audio when we move a door. I record in a garage.
Okay. Okay, so
what is the difference between a resistor and a diode? That's like how simplistic my understanding of stuff is. Like I do not know.
a resistor resists electricity.
What does a diode do?
It diodes electricity.
No. It diodes electricity.
So there you go.
So how do you tell? Oh, it's marked.
Yeah. The board is marked.
Oh.
And there's a line
is the
on the
okay.
diode. So you can, I mean, it's kind of is like you said. It's kind of paper, like a kit is painted by numbers essentially.
D1, D2, D3, D4.
Which this isn't a kit, but when I assembled it for you and put all the pieces and parts, that became a kit then. So this diode goes the other direction.
The fact that I found out that I don't actually need to know how to read the code on the resistors and things like that is making me feel a lot more positive towards this. It doesn't feel like a foreign language now. Like I feel like, oh, I just need to know the values, right?
The assembly is super simple. Soldering different parts, there's different techniques. Like I said, the diodes, because they are glass, and so if you did just solder one side and then the other side, and you held the iron on there too long, you could crack the diode, and so that would be a problem. Resistors can take quite a bit of heat. You still shouldn't, hang on there, but
I think I did it. Success.
But yeah, if you didn't know that, then that would be the problem. Would be the soldering,
Right.
But other than that, you should be fine.
This is way less intimidating than I thought it was going to be.
And so just kind of like hold the leads, snip them, and
Give it a haircut.
Yeah, just give it a haircut. Yeah.
At this. Like,
Yep,
right about
that's
that.
perfect. Just because it's easier whenever you're soldering, and then and then I literally just.
You have that pedal that you made a shaker.
Yes.
And that's where all this comes from. Or where it all goes, anyways.
Where it will all go. show you this. You want to touch this is a chisel tip. It's a really, really small chisel tip. It's like the third smallest one Hacker makes. But so it kind of has a flat side, right?
Right.
And so you want you're touching the pad, but you're also touching the lead at the same time.
You want them both to be hot.
You heat them both up so the solder can
Right.
adhere to both of them. And you'll kind of see this thing will, oh, sorry, I don't want to move that light, it'll fuck up your stuff.
No, you can move the light around.
Okay, well, cool.
It'll actually be cool. It'll lens flares. This is J.J. Abrams style now.
Okay, so basically, you touch the lead and you touch the pad, and then you flow the solder into kind of like the third point there, right?
Right.
And then it kind of is going to flow into the hole, and then I'll leave the iron on the joint just for a second. I pull the solder away, but you watch, and you'll actually kind of see it kind of suck in the hole.
Right.
Like it kind of pulls down in. You can kind of just like see like a little bit of motion there. And then you're done. And then when I'm done, I kind of drag the tip up the lead.
Interesting. You've got all these little techniques. Like I'm such a slob when I solder because I've never actually thought about it. I'm just like, get hot metal on place for electricity, go. Like,
yeah.
You have like a whole style that you think about.
Well, and then because it kind of makes the
it gives you the little
situation.
Like the little nipple.
Yeah. So basically, so I'm gonna touch that, and I'm gonna flow this in, and it's done. So like I said, I just left it on there for just a second, just long enough for it to do what it does. And then when you flip the board over later, some people will even solder on the top, and I every now and again will, if I feel that it just looks a little like, I don't know, like it doesn't look, they don't look all consistent, like because I'm really anal about that. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do that, but like I want them to look really good too, like I guess. So that's basically what you do.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's, and you may or may not get that on the first try, but
I'll give it a shot.
So just remember your, pad and the lead, and then you kind of.
I can tell this is making Grant nervous. Right
Yeah,
now.
but you don't have to be like this. Be more like just like. Cool. A little more. Cool. Great.
I did it, and he said great.
That was great. You even kind of ran up the lead a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to. Do your little flick that you did.
Did a little flick thing. You just don't want the solder to have a kind of like a bulbous look. Like you don't want to have it have like a curved top or whatever,
Right.
And also if it looks like real milky, like if it looks like gray.
That's bad.
Yeah. It should be kind of semi-shiny.
Oh man. Every now and then I take apart an old guitar that I worked on when I was like a teen or a college age, and I had a soldering iron that was way underpowered and just did gobs of milky gray solder.
Cool, that was good.
I sprayed a little bit of.
That's fine. It won't stick to anything else.
Right.
The solder mask keeps it from.
Like I was basically like putty knifing solder on when I was in college to do like pickup swaps and stuff.
Yeah.
Grant's trying to trick me into becoming an employee. That's what this is all about. There's going to be people who watch this just to judge
Oh yeah.
my soldering abilities. I feel like I'm doing the best I've ever done. It's because I got a coach here.
You're killing it. Oftentimes, people that do these kinds of things are super prideful about the things that they know.
Right.
And they just want you to know how much they know and how little you know in comparison.
Oh, I get that for everything that I do. Like, well, I do it this way. And if you did it, the way that I do it, then you wouldn't be having the problems you have, Ryan. I like having the problems that I have, okay? That's how I have fun. All right, so now clip them?
Let me, yeah, well,
Or you want to check them?
you can clip them because honestly anything that needs to be fixed can be fixed after it's been clipped. But,
If you want to use little
No.
pliers to grab them?
no, just go. So what I do, I literally just You can just clip them and let the leads lay, and then they spill out into this dish, and then you have to dip them out. But I'll literally just hold them and go and like throw them all away.
Right.
I'm just super and now, yeah, you're good. The way I do it generally, and I don't know if no one's ever taught me this, but I'll just take the cutters and kind of just slide down to where I feel like.
Okay.
That's where you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get that.
So it's like okay, you stop there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then that's where you snip it. So.
Yeah, you have a little process here, a tactile.
Yeah, something that. So you're not just guessing and cutting into the solder, because like I said, that happens, and then you got to reflow it. I think honestly, this is pretty solid, man.
I pat myself on the back.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. And I normally wouldn't even look at my own like this because,
Sure,
you know, I'm watching them as I make them, but like, just because I want to make sure.
Well, I can tell just from looking at that it's irregular. It's hand done. Like the machine didn't.
Yeah,
there was like one of those flow machines that. What are those things called?
What do you call it? Where it just dips. You dip it in.
Like it's like wave.
Wave solder.
Wave solder.
Wave solder. Yeah.
I have a friend who does that for like industrial commercial applications.
Cool.
So
I mean, this is
why
solid.
I knew about it at all. Hi, Meg.
This is solid. We can flip this over.
I wonder if she will end up watching this. Like, Meg will catch wind that I did a soldering video, and she said, "Well, I'm going to go over there and judge him." Hi, Meg. Judging me in a friendly way. This is an icy one.
8-pin socket.
Oh, it's you. Okay.
Yeah, it's for. So that has a little bite out of the top. Mm-hmm. And that's facing.
Oh, that tells you how to place it.
And that doesn't matter because it's just a socket, but it does matter that that's the direction that the part goes. And
Socket, twist it, flip it. That's my dumb joke for the moment. Sorry, I interrupted your actual instruction to do a joke.
But that way it just kind of signifies which way your IC is going to go.
Right. Those were a little bit harder, just from like the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially if you weren't using a jig, because now that they're in the position that you want them, once we put this on, they're going to stay.
Right.
And then you can solder them. But if you weren't using a jig and you had to bend the leads, you flip it over, they kind of want to move around, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't look as clean. Using a jig just makes everything look so much cleaner.
Totally.
So these things are, for what they are and for what they, I mean, not for what they do. For what they do, it's an amazing thing. It's a lifesaver.
How much does a jig like this cost?
That's what I was going to say. They're so, for what you would think it would cost, because it's just some like,
should I guess?
Aluminum frames and clamps. But yeah, what do you think?
How much does a jig like this cost? I kind of want to go what I think is high. Like I'm getting like seven. This is like Price is Right time right now. I'm getting like $7.86 and 23 cents.
No.
Okay.
What about half that?
Oh, half that. That's not bad.
So they're like $300 to $400 for this size, and then maybe
I just lost Price is Right. I went way too high.
maybe it was around $320. I don't really remember, but it was definitely like
that's a no-brainer expense.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth it. My goodness.
Not for like the one-off home builder, the hobby builder,
yeah.
But if you're doing business, even if you're doing like a dozen builds here and there, like, yeah, buy the thing, buy the rig.
Well, it doesn't seem, like I said, because of when you look at like, but it's not like, I mean, that's what my brain goes like. Intrinsically, it's worth, $10, right? And that's what people always say about a guitar pedal. But this is like Swiss engineering,
No, it's extremely specific.
Yeah,
like,
and it's for
you would spend weeks and hundreds of dollars in materials
to figure out
to get close, and it would be like the thing I did isn't quite right, and I have to like kind of like to get it to work.
Snaus actually made his own system out of wood. And they're beautiful, and apparently they do the trick. They do what it needs to do. So.
Well, if you want your pedal to sound really good, you got to have your rig made out of tone wood.
I think so.
Yeah,
even your pedals.
Oh, was this pedal made in a tone wood jig? It doesn't sound like it was.
So you don't have to trim these leads. I do. I always
Okay.
just to be. I honestly don't know how you're doing this, but you're doing a good job of knowing how much to flow.
Maybe I'm a natural. Maybe I should have been building pedals this whole time instead of doing podcasts and YouTubes. I could have been making things that people can actually use. Instead of wasting everyone's time with my terrible playing. Don't tell me I'm okay. I know what I am. Leave me alone. Let me have my fun.
Cool. Let me just check these.
Sure.
We'll just kind of do it every step of the way. Now, I do a thing that you don't need to do. Those are great. Those are great. That looks... I'm going to just...
I feel like I'm at a dentist appointment when he's looking him over. I'm like, are you flossing? I don't know if you're flossing. Oh, I'm flossing. I don't know. This could use a little help.
Okay. So, when you... I'll just kind of show you this way. When you're building this later, so a pot is going to go in here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you do that, see how the back of the pot is hitting off of
Right.
these leads from the socket. So I actually cut them down. You don't need to do
Okay.
this in most. You don't need to do this in most.
It just like you think about it, so like I want to flatten
Yeah,
this out.
just so that the other because the other pots are also going to be sitting up against joints here, but these joints are much lower because they've already been trimmed, right? They're
Right.
You know, but the socket has just like pre-length, bits sticking out. And most people don't trim them because of that. You don't need to trim them, but just for the sake of having the pots all sit in the same place and not ever have any weird, like sometimes you don't notice a pot is kind of leaning forward. So when you spin it, it kind of spins like around like an outside point as opposed to around a center point. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. Yeah. Nowadays, there's more of a reason to make this pretty. I think people are getting the pictures up on Instagram, got shots. There's got shot culture and this whole thing. Got shots people now care about the old stuff, and you don't just like fill hot glue and just all over the place. And,
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's more of a reason to make things look pretty. I think people are getting their pictures taken or their pedals pictures put up on Instagram and gut shots. There's like gut shot culture, and that's a whole thing. And gut shots, people really now care about how things look. Whereas old stuff, man, you get old pedals just like filled with hot glue and just stuff
Sure.
is just all over the place. And
Look at that. I've populated a board for a pedal.
this, so this side kind of like this is going to go in here.
Do they come pre-trimmed like that?
Yep.
That's like,
Yep.
that's cool.
And so basically with this guy, I'll do just one side of it, and you kind of want to like, you'll get your iron in here, and kind of like you're using, the force of your iron to like keep it up tight against that.
Right.
But you just do one side first, and then you want to flip it over and you want to check it because you might have started it like that.
Oh, okay.
And then if you just started the second one, once you got two in there, that's how it's going to live. I mean, you can. I do have a tool that is easy to use to get that out, but just so you don't do it, then you don't want to waste time undoing stuff. Just if you just do it right the first time.
Sure.
So cool.
You look,
Don't
go,
right. It's not.
I'm feeling really positive about this. I might be a pedal builder now.
Cool. You want to snip those leads off?
I do. Do you like every other?
No, but don't wait. We gotta wait.
Oh, you gotta wait.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, because it's hot.
Because it's hot. Just give it, give it a little bit of time. Get a drink.
You said earlier you're not
Do-
a teacher,
do
but
some yoga.
You're doing a great job teaching, Grant. It's a very
Thank you.
peaceful, positive experience. Like when I cook pancakes, I know how thick I want the batter based on if I spoon the batter and let it fall into the rest, what kind of dimple it makes into the batter. And I feel like this is a similar experience. Like how
A lot of it's by feel.
how it builds up before it spreads out, like you're there's like a instinct
Yeah.
that you build up.
Yeah. That's why I was surprised at the amount of solder that you were putting on your resistors. Right away, I realized like you instinctually were like knowing what to do.
The switch is taking really long because you have to wait.
Well, but like I said, if when you have multiple switches, you do one,
That's why you have the jig.
Yeah. How many times I gotta say this to you, man? Hold the solder to it just for, or the iron to it for just a longer. Don't not no solder, just the iron for another second, or like a second longer than you just did. I'm having a hard time communicating. The length of time that you just did, but then add more to it. Cool.
The length of time that you just did, but add more to it.
Like I wasn't saying 1 second. I was saying add a second to what you had already like. So you did it for 2 seconds. Make it 3. Okay. You know that
33% more time.
when I was first diagnosed with Asperger's, I didn't really know what it was, and people didn't know what autism it was at all because people just thought I should be like walking around chewing on my hand or something.
Right.
And so I would just tell people it's a communication disorder because like it in a lot of ways shows itself as a communication disorder. So it's still like almost second nature for me to be like, oh, I have a communication disorder. It's like I don't actually have. I mean, I kind of do, but like that's not really what it is. But it's just easy. People are like, you can talk, and I'm like, oh no, I can talk. I can talk long after you've lost interest. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that sometimes like I'm not able to express myself in the way that makes sense, or that, you know, just to other people. You know, like, what are you talking about, dude? And I'll say something that like someone else could say it in like 7 words, and I'll say it in like 77 words. You know. And still they don't understand what I'm trying to say, and they get confused because I said 60 words that were unnecessary, and now they're listening to those words instead of the actual 7 that were important, and then they're confused because they're like, but you said this, and they're like, oh, okay, I know, it's because, you know, communicating is hard.
Communicating is hard.
It's tough.
I find like...
See, I could have said all that shit I just said. Communicating is tough. I could have just left it at that, right? Being a human is hard.
It's tricky sometimes. I find like every now and then I find myself in a situation where someone's like, oh, hey, to do this thing, like this thing that we're doing, I need you to read this book. And I have to be like, I could say like, oh, I have ADD, so that's not going to work out. But there's so much social baggage that comes with that. I just say I have a learning disability. Yeah. I can't do this. I can't be part of whatever this thing is that we're talking about if it requires me reading a book, because that will take me a year.
Yeah.
It will take me a literal year.
It will not happen.
And it's not because I'm dumb. I can't sit and read a book. Like if you sent me an article, I can read an article. Mm-hmm. I can make that happen, but a book is impossible.
Now be careful on the top row that you don't get too close to the ribbon.
Sure.
Because you can burn and melt the ribbon. So you want to be super in there, super tight.
But like when you say learning disability, like people are more quick to just be like, oh, I don't want to know, so I'm not going to question it, you know?
Yeah.
But if you say ADD, there's people who like don't believe it's real, or they're like, oh, you don't seem that hyper. And it's like
everybody has ADD.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
My kid always jumps off the couch. Like,
yeah, it's not really what it is. And my kid doesn't listen to me either. Like, okay, well, like I want to read, you know.
Yeah.
I just it's in practicality.
See, I don't want to read. I don't want to have any other external...
Yeah, like I need another hobby, right?
Well, no, I just unless... Well, I mean, I like to read things if it's like I'm learning something. But yeah, I don't want to read like a book about like other people's problems in their life.
Was that not enough? I felt like it was a little less than...
External emotion. Yeah, add a little more.
When I was a kid, and you have to read to do book reports and stuff, you know, I'd take a bunch of Ritalin, and I'd very much enjoy reading a lot of books. I loved like old vintage sci-fi stuff, like Jules Verne type stuff, and whatnot. But I hit a point in high school where I was like, I don't want to take Ritalin anymore. I don't like the way it makes me feel, and so that was a choice I made as far as like my own personal experience. Like I don't want to have that feeling at the end of the day when you crash off of it.
Yeah.
Because it's gross. It's a gross feeling. When I was a little kid, you don't the same way you don't experience a sugar crash when you're a little kid. You're fine with it. But as I got older, like it was really bumming me out. So I chose feeling good for half of the day over an ability to read books.
Gotta feel good too.
Yeah. You gotta live the rest of your life.
Cool, this is great.
Awesome.
So this can go right here for now. So I'll have to stand up.
And also I was in a position where I was about to go into art school. You know, like, I wasn't going to be reading a lot of books in art school. I was going to be making a lot of pictures, which I can do unmedicated just fine.
Yeah. And actually, well, I would think that like having attention, if you're doing big pieces, like if you're like an artist that's doing a piece that is, you know, took 80 hours, maybe like that is a little more crucial to like be able to sit there and be like, to like do this. I'm going to do this job for 16 hours and then not sleep. But if you're doing...
It's a different kind of experience. Like, because expressive stuff, it's different than absorbing stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like, I can sit and work on a painting for hours and hours. I can sit...
And not get distracted?
Not get distracted. Because I'm expressing something, I'm outputting something. But inputting something is the challenge. And it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's fairly common that artistic and creative endeavors become a natural thing for people with the kind of ADD that I have, because we can do it, and we're naturally attracted to the thing that we can do without trouble, you know. Mm-hmm.
Cool, that's fine. This one's still a little... I mean, it's not gonna not work. It's just...
Sure.
It just doesn't look as pretty, but they're totally gonna work. Okay, so that is... There's some pedal guts.
There it is.
Okay.
This might be the thumbnail.
They might send the wrong colors in the back of LEDs. So you're just building assuming that's a particular color, because then all of a sudden they're all green, and I don't like green LEDs.
Why do you hate green LEDs?
I don't like red LEDs. I have a problem with a lot of LEDs. They might send the wrong colors in the bag of LEDs, and so you don't want to just build them assuming that it's a particular color, because then all of a sudden they're all green, and I don't like green LEDs.
Why do you hate green LEDs?
Who likes green LEDs? I don't like red LEDs. I have a problem with a lot of LED.
Red and green. He hates Christmas.
Yeah. We made a Christmas pedal, actually.
Right.
So,
I don't think you actually hate Christmas.
But it has a white LED in it.
Sure.
But
the pedal itself was Christmas.
Was green and red. It's a Christmas sweater. Yeah.
And green, he hates Christmas.
Yeah. We made a Christmas pedal, actually. Right?
I don't think you actually hate Christmas.
But it has a white LED in it.
Sure. But the pedal itself.
This needs to just sit down over top of it. And then while holding it in place, you then will get the hardware on the outside. And then you can flip it over and it will stay in place. But still, the pot lugs are not soldered yet. So you want to be careful not to pull anything up.
Right.
So I will give this to you and we'll see if you can get it right. So you're going to hold it. Usually I hold it with like this and hold it with like one finger. Well, you can't. You got to be underneath it totally because it won't fit in otherwise. Let me show you quickly. So if you're like, you got to be like kind of like that.
Okay, I got you.
Because it's has clearance on the left and right and on the top.
Like that.
Yes. So you'll get that in the enclosure.
This is the test.
Can you do it?
Oh shoot. This is what you wanted to see. This is the part that you think is funny.
It's like the skateboard video blooper reel. Only you're not like... It's probably a terrible thing that we laughed at, like people getting hurt. I don't know if you watch skateboard videos when you were a kid.
Of course. I mean, I didn't laugh. I'd go like, ooh.
Foot switch doesn't matter. Foot switch doesn't matter.
Okay, foot switch doesn't matter.
So you don't have to worry about that. You just want to get these 3 pots in there. There you go.
Shoot, I did it.
There you go. We're going to keep the tension on it and then flip it over. Or no, you put the nuts on first. Put the washers on first. And then the nuts, sorry. It's a Christmas sweater, yeah. Okay,
I feel pretty good about myself. This has been a real confidence booster, guys.
Each one, the pedals I built with other people that when I showed them how to build pedals took about 2 to 2.5 hours.
Well, that's what.
So we're in and around the same time, and this was.
I think that's just the pacing to explain each part.
Yeah.
You know?
So the generators, I don't keep these. I just have what I use normally up here. Right. So they're back here. I'm gonna grab this really quick.
Can't believe I'm getting 2 hours of filming on my iPhone. Awesome.
Cool. I mean, it's great. Yeah.
Cool.
So just go down the row, and then you'll want to do the LED, and then we move on to jacks, and that's it. The pedal's built in. You're doing great at pulling up off the lead.
Well, once you showed me that was a thing, I was like, oh shoot, that's a fun little technique. It's almost a tactile look, like it's like a little Zorro swoosh at the end of what you're doing. Like, I've done it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fun. It's like when you pull a knife out of the knife block and you make sure that it makes the little shing sound, you know? You don't need to do that, but it sure is fun.
Mm-hmm.
None of them look milky to me, but you've got the professional eye.
Well, that's usually not even the issue. It's just making sure that there's enough. I'm gonna hit this top middle one real quick. Which is one we've been there hit twice already.
Yeah.
Okay. And the rest are all looking good. You'll notice some of them look a little more brown because the flux, because the longer you are on the joint, the more likely you are to burn the flux. But that also is fine. And this solder, you don't need to clean the flux. I mean, there are some people that will say that, oh, that's sloppy and that's terrible and oh, the flux is going to degrade the board and blah, 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 blah. It's going to eat it. It's like, man, I have opened up pedals that were made 50 years ago and there's flux everywhere and that thing still works. And I've opened up amps that were made just as long ago and there's flux everywhere and they still work. Or what was broken was not that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I hope these pedals are still being used in 50 years. Who knows what people are going to be using at that point in time. But this is great. I would just do the LED.
Do I need to... Oh, it's already through.
So the LED...
it's just like gravity fell in there?
Yeah.
Or did you place that?
No, it's lined up with the hole and it just goes right in the hole. Cool. Yeah, but see, now it's so you're like...
I know.
Tension up against the thing, so you kind of want to have it be bent. Here, let me, no, hold on.
You show me.
Just so they look more, it's got to look, it's got to look like a kind of like a mirror image of the other
Grant
side.
really cares like how each wire looks and how each like placement of each thing looks. Like it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's kind of.
He really cares about this stuff. That's neat.
It matters, you know. Everything, everything matters.
People open these things up to take a peek. If it looks sloppy, then that affects their impression of the product.
Absolutely.
If it looks really clean, they probably don't even realize what went into that. They just assume clean is default most of the time.
Well,
but people who know what clean means. You know, it means that someone cared.
That's what I think. It means you cared, and so if you care about things that are unnecessary,
right?
Then you surely cared about the things that do matter. You're 6 joints away from having this pedal done. And I know what you're thinking, usually people don't get much done after 6 joints. But you're gonna.
That was a good joke pause that we just did together. What do you guys think? White power jack? White power jack? That felt weird to say. Maybe we should go with the black jack. The black power jack. No, I think the white one's fun. So you were talking about making it square.
And it will never have a battery in it, so I snipped that off.
This will never have a battery in it.
I'm not doing it. Batteries are bad.
They kind of are. Every time I get a pedal that has a battery in it, I take it out because I've had too many batteries and devices get fuzzy on me. Like, I don't want that in my pedals. I don't want to leave a battery in my pedals, even if it was convenient, because I don't want to open it up one day and find a big, crusty, fuzzy mess.
Yeah. A lot of times, these foot switch washers are ugly.
You gotta find the pretty foot switch washer.
Yeah, these are all rejects.
Let me see. Let me see those.
Some of them are real bad. You'll find some
These
real
are
bad.
these are the ugly foot switch.
Even the
washer
foot switch
guys.
washer has to look good, man.
He's so particular. I'm trying to find the really bad ones.
Yeah, sometimes there's like that. You see that?
Oh, I see. There's like a little indent. In
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I didn't even know what I was looking for. Like, what's a bad washer? He's so particular. That's too funny. Oh wait, I see a really bad one.
There's some
that one's
chunk out of them.
Oh, that one's really bad. I mean, it's getting away from me. Yeah, it was missing like a whole side of it.
Yeah. I mean, they just come in a big bag. You buy them, and they just
Right. I feel like you should make jewelry out of these or something.
like some sort of percussion, like a shaker.
Like a necklace or I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, a shaker.
So this is the thing.
Rivets on a cymbal or something.
Yeah.
You know, mess up a really nice cymbal to put a bunch of junk washers on it.
Now I don't know if this is true, but I've heard many times from people that you don't want this bottom washer to be all the way up against the body of the foot switch. So I'll just turn it a little bit, and I turn it off. And what I do is I always turn it so that it's running, what's the word, alongside that
Like
line,
parallel?
like T. So it's like
Perpendicular,
right?
parallel, one of those words.
Yeah, one of those P words. So
A P word.
okay,
Make sure there's a P word.
so this goes in the hole. And
I'm guessing
I
this
do
guy.
this thing where I always want the top of the nut to be flat. I want the top of the nut to be flat across, right? If I can't get it totally flat, I'll allow it to be at a point. So there's a point there which nobody can even see when I'm
Grant, you're a little ridiculous. You want the nuts to be like flat on the top.
Yeah. And the foot switch washer also wants to move around because the inner diameter is a little bigger than the actual diameter of the foot switch. So when I'm putting the foot switch on, I'll move the washer around a bunch to try to get it as centered as possible. And then whenever you tighten it, sometimes that last turn moves it anyway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I'll kind of try to get it positioned. And
So you want that channel to be on the bottom, and you want the nut to be flat on the top.
Yes. It's always like after you've built a pedal, and then like putting the foot switch on takes almost as long as the whole pedal. And I know nobody else cares about that, but I care about it, and
Right.
so that's why I do it.
I mean, there's things I do in editing that no one will ever know. There's things I do in video production no one will ever know that I did it. But I have to do it every time, or it drives me nuts that I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, if I was building pedals, I wouldn't care about that. But maybe I would. Maybe I'd grow to care about that.
Most pedal companies do not.
Everyone, go check your bigger pedals and see how
That'll tell you if I
it's
built it
lined
or
up.
not. That'll tell you if I built it.
There you go. There's a fun thing. If Grant built it, it'll have that detail.
Or somebody may have adjusted it at some point or
Sure.
something.
But if it's flat or pointed on the top of that nut, you know that Grant was the one to touch it. Grant was the last one to touch it. Let's test it out.
I was gonna say, should we put knobs on it first and just assume that it's gonna be fine?
Yeah, put knobs on it.
So when you test it, it looks pretty. I just gotta grab some knobs quick, and we'll do that.
I've used it for film stuff before, but never long term. I'm glad I upgraded and got one that's got, I think, 128 gigs on it. So
It
plus
needs-
it.
It needs an IC,
Oh, it needs an IC.
or it ain't gonna work.
What does IC stand for?
Integrated circuit.
Integrated circuit. That's the depth of my knowledge.
Generally speaking, you shouldn't just pick them up. In case you have any static buildup or anything.
Oh, okay.
So usually I'll just like touch some metal stuff and then I'll pick them up.
I screwed up just by touching
It's going to be
something.
fine. It's going to be fine. It's not that fragile. There's some...
It's going to sound special because I touched it first.
Yes. Now
Now, I've seen pedal companies pitch like the socketed IC as a thing, like, oh, you could get this and swap them and like have fun. Like,
you could totally do that in
sound.
this. You could totally do that in this. You could try different ICs and try and get some different results. For me, it's just that like every now and again they don't work, especially like in our woodcutter pedal, LM308s, the ones that I used to get.
So then it's a lot easier to just be like,
If it doesn't work, you just boop.
yank it out and put in a new one instead of
Yeah.
having to resolder the board.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because it's just, there's 8 legs.
Yeah.
And it's not like something that has 2 legs that you can just like snip it or bend it or just do whatever. It's like 8 legs. It's going to be a lot harder to get that out.
And the socket's probably so cheap that like, why would you even care?
Like 10 cents or so, 8
Yeah.
cents or something like that. Cool.
All right. Should we button it up and try it?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to put the back on. I mean, I'll sit it on the back so it doesn't slide around, but...
I'm going to stop recording on this.
Cool.
All right, getting it all set up. Fingers crossed.
Let's see. That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
You got a light on it.
So we know that at least works. Okay. That goes into your guitar, and I'll take the camera and...
Here, we'll leave it on wide.
So that's passing signal. That's a good sign.
I'm gonna spend an hour dialing in the tone.
And it's an amp that like... I actually love that amp for testing pedals because it like lets you know if there's something wrong. You know what I mean?
It's not forgiving. All the knobs are down. Oh, we're passing signal. Hell yeah. We did it!
You has made overdrive.
That's so cool! We made a pedal, Grant. Well, you designed the pedal and you showed me how to put it together. And it took 3 hours, but we did it. Sounds really cool too.
Turn it up.
Hell yeah.
Ryan's so excited he's shaking over here. We made an overdrive pedal.
We made a pedal! Grant, this has been a ton of fun.
Yeah, man. I had fun.
Yeah, it's been 3 hours
I
hanging
know,
out in
I
Nashville,
couldn't
making a
fathom having
pedal.
fun with this guy, but
Yeah, I'm such a bummer all the time. Yeah, I need another hobby, but now I want to build another one.
it happens.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And now that I understand like all the little like tweaky kind of like processes that you come up with and stuff, and that
And everybody makes it their own. Everyone does it their own way. Not everybody does all those stupid things that I do.
the assembly process, which was the part that was intimidating to me, like looking at all the little resistors and all the stripes and not knowing like what that means, and knowing that like, oh, if they're labeled, then you don't actually have to know how to interpret that. I'm sure there's value to that skill, but I don't have to have it. It's nice. So I'm excited, Grant.
Cool.
Thanks a ton.
You bet. Normally I'm sitting in a chair, of course.
So Grant's telling me that sometimes the boxes aren't perfect. The way the letters are printed, so he fills it in with a marker. Grant, you're ridiculous.
All better.